Today we are going to be learning the cases, nominative and accusative. There are four essential questions for this unit. When do you use the nominative case? When do you use the accusative case? What is the subject of a sentence? And what is a direct object? Pause the video and write down each of these questions. You should already be able to answer what is a subject and what is a direct object. There are four cases in German. Cases deal with parts of speech. The first two cases you learn are the nominative case and the accusative case. The nominative case deals with the subject of the sentence, while the accusative case deals with the direct object of a sentence. Let's first look at that question, what is a subject? To correctly use the nominative case, you must first understand what a subject is. For basic German sentences, these are the things I want you to understand about a subject. Number one, the subject is doing the action in the sentence. Number two, the subject is not always a person, it can be an object. And number three, for basic statements, the subject is always first. A Beispiel, or example, I need the pencil. You can always ask yourself this kind of a question. For who is doing the action? I need. I is the subject because I need something. And then the question, what is a direct object, can be a little trickier for some people. To correctly use the accusative case, you must first understand what a direct object is. Again, for the purposes of this lesson and for beginning German, these are the things I want you to keep in mind about a direct object. Number one, the direct object is receiving the action in the sentence. Number two, the direct object is connected to the subject by the verb. And number three, for basic statements, the direct object always follows the verb. The verb is very important in these sentences, and I will have an analogy for you in just a few minutes. But first, let's look at a Beispiel. That same sentence, I need the pencil. You can ask yourself, what do I need? I need the pencil. The pencil is the direct object because it is the thing that we need. Here's a little thing to think about. What happens if an Oreo doesn't have a creamy center? Think about that Oreo as the subject, the verb being the creamy center, and the direct object. Without that creamy center, our two pieces fall apart, and they aren't actually a subject and a direct object if they don't have a verb tying them together. If we just said, I, the pencil, there's no distinction there on which part of speech I am and which part of speech the pencil is. So, what happens if a subject and a direct object don't have the verb in the middle? Things fall apart. In your notes, I would like you to now pause the video and take down the chart that you see on your screen. It is very important that you make the dotted line where you see a dotted line. Those two pieces are tied together, but they are also distinctly different. Now pause the video and fill in this information. Across the top of your chart, you see each of the genders of nouns in German, which you have previously learned about: masculine, feminine, neuter, and plural. Then you see the two cases that we are working with: nominative used for the subject and accusative used for the direct object. Above the dotted line, you see the way to say the for each of the genders in the nominative and then for the accusative. In the nominative, you see der, die, das, die, and in the accusative, you see den, die, das, die. Noting that when we go from the nominative case to the accusative case, so a subject to a direct object, in the masculine we have a change from der to den. Feminine, neuter, and plural, there is no change. Below the dotted line, you will see indefinite articles, which we will be exploring in a later lesson. In the nominative, they are ein, eine, ein, and you cannot say a with a plural noun, so for this we are using the possessive adjective meine. For the accusative, they are einen, eine, ein, and meine, and you will notice that the masculine changes again from the nominative ein to the accusative einen. As you continue your German studies, it will be very important to refer to this chart frequently and remembering when to use the nominative with the subject and when to use the accusative with the direct object. Your masculine words will change from the nominative to the accusative, so refer to this chart often. Let's look now at the direct object in German. Ich habe das Lineal. We can do that question again. I have, what do I have? The ruler is the direct object. So ich habe das Lineal. Er kauft den Rechner. We can do that question. He buys. What does he buy? The calculator. And you will notice here, Rechner is a masculine word. It would have started as der. Because it's the direct object, that der changes to den. Er kauft den Rechner. I have a few helpful hints for you as you continue working through this material. Den will never be the first word in a sentence. If you keep in mind our basic word order, subject, verb, direct object. As you're doing sentence completions, if you keep that in mind with your masculine words, den will never come first. Ist, or the verb sein, indicates a subject, not a direct object. Anytime you have a form of the verb sein, ich bin, du bist, er, sie, es ist, wir sind, ihr seid, sie sind, you will be working with a subject because no action is being done with the verb sein. And keep in mind your basic word order is subject plus verb plus direct object. Now see if you can go back to the beginning of your notes and answer the questions. When do you use the nominative case? When do you use the accusative case? And if you had not previously answered them, what is the subject of a sentence and what is a direct object? Now I would like for you to pause this video and take down the following 15 sentences in your notes. Be sure to look up any nouns that you are unfamiliar with, using, for example, leo.org to find out the definite articles. These are all words either from this unit or from previous units that you should be familiar with. Fill in either der, die, das, or den, and then we'll go over them. Nummer 1. Ich kaufe den Computer. I buy, what do I buy? The computer is the direct object of a masculine word. Der changes to den. 2. Wo ist das Buch? Where is the book? Das never changes, so it would stay das. 3. Er hat den Kuli. He has the pen. Der Kuli would change to den. With that question, he has, what does he have? The pen is the direct object. 4. Die Gitarre ist ganz neu. The guitar is quite new. Die never changes, but the guitar is the subject of the sentence. 5. Der Junge heißt Georg. The boy is called Georg. The boy is the subject of the sentence. der remains der. Ich brauche den Bleistift und das Papier. I need the pencil and the paper. I need, what do I need? The pencil and the paper are both direct objects. So this is an example of a sentence where you could have multiple direct objects. If Papier had been a der word, it would have also changed to den because it was also a direct object. 7. Die Landkarte hängt da drüben. The map is hanging over there. Die stays die. 8. Wohin geht das Mädchen? Where is the girl going? Das remains das. 9. Die Frau ist sehr nett. The woman is very nice. 10. Wir haben die Klasse gern. We like the class. 11. Wann beginnt der Film? When does the movie start? Many people get confused in sentences such as this. Der Film is the third word in the sentence, and many people think it's so far into the sentence it must be a direct object. With questions, it is helpful to answer the question. So when does the movie begin? The movie begins at 8 o'clock. The movie is doing the action, therefore it is the subject. Das Fernsehprogramm ist sehr interessant. The TV show is very interesting. Der Lehrer ist nicht nett. The teacher is not nice. Der Lehrer, the subject of the sentence, der stays der. Kaufst du die CD hier? Are you buying this CD here? Und 15. Der Tisch ist sehr alt. The table is very old. Der remained der because it is the subject of the sentence. At this point, if you have any questions about the nominative and accusative cases, please email your instructor.